Continuing our discussion about the use of deep breathing in order to manage our response to stress. I've already described how the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system work in opposition to each other. The sympathetic nervous system activating us in the fight, flight, or freeze response to stress, and the parasympathetic, which helps calm us. We can use deep breathing in order to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and help reduce those physical effects of stress. One of the keys to effective deep breathing is just to slow your breathing. There's a lot of different information out there about diaphragmatic breathing, square breathing, 3-3-3 breathing, and things like that. I would encourage you to look into it, but for right now and for the sake of simplicity, the only thing that you need to focus on is just breathing slowly. That is maybe 8 seconds in and 8 seconds out, which will seem very, very long when you first start practicing. If you can't manage for 8 seconds, that's okay. And you'll find as you get used to it and relax, you will be more comfortable doing those long, slow breaths. You don't need to hold your breath at all. You can just breathe in slowly and then exhale slowly, just like this. As you breathe in and out, you can leave your eyes open or close them, whatever's most comfortable for you. The goal then is to take about 15 of those nice slow breaths, maybe 10. If you do 15 breaths, that takes about 3 minutes. So it's a very short period of time in order to get that parasympathetic nervous system activated. It doesn't have to be, half an hour, 45 minutes, anything like that. My recommendation would be to practice this deep breathing about 3 times a day. Maybe when you first get up in the morning, after breakfast, something like that, around lunchtime, and then again before bed to help wind down. Maybe you can even do it when you're laying down in bed. The nice thing about the deep breathing is you really can do it anywhere. You could do it, at a red light, keep your eyes open. Sitting at the dining room table after dinner, watching a TV show, anything, anywhere that you have a moment, and then if you have a little bit of privacy and you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can do that. I think it helps. For me, it sort of minimizes distractions and helps me focus on my breathing. There's 2 things to consider about practice. The first is, this is how I sort of like to think about it, is that fight, flight, or freeze is a little bit like being in a forest fire. Our body is telling us there's an emergency that we have to respond to. And just like in, a real forest fire, if we were trying to learn a new skill in that moment, it would be very, very difficult to learn that new skill. Say, bike riding, right? Like if somebody was trying to teach you to ride a bike in the middle of a forest fire, you would have a lot of difficulty learning how to ride a bike, concentrating on what they were saying, paying attention to anything. So for this reason, I think it's particularly important to practice the deep breathing when things are relatively calm. That is, just like if it were a calm day, nice flat parking lot, and you were practicing riding a bike. That's the time to learn. So put in a little bit of time in calm moments to practice the deep breathing, to learn, teach your body what it feels like so that you become really skilled, comfortable, and familiar with how to do the deep breathing. Then, in the forest fire, use the deep breathing. Grab that bike right out of the forest fire, right? You know how to do it. So in the moment that you feel that rush that's associated with fight, flight, or freeze, you feel your heart rate increase, or your breathing become constricted, or your hands get cold, or any of whatever the first sign of fight, flight, or freeze is for you, to then use the deep breathing. So I always like to differentiate between practicing it and using it. And this way you can really master it and become skilled at it. And I think you might find that it helps a lot with that immediate stress response and helps slow things down. If you want more information, you can check with the CVN website, which has many links online for additional educational information about stress, stress management, sleep, and other resources. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.